I'm Coach Donna. I'm the Health and Wellness Behavior Strategy Coach. I help those who are stuck to move forward and live a life of wholeness with their mind, body, soul, and spirit. I'm also a motivational speaker, a blogger, a mother, as well as a wife. I am an author. I am many things, but most importantly, I know that I have purpose to help others.
Okay, Coach Donna, tell me about a tough time in your life that made you the champion that you are today.
A tough time in my life that made me into the champion that I am today. When I was 5 years old, my mom and dad divorced, and my mom, she was challenged with mental illness. My mom later had a total of 6 children, and because of her mental illness, we were moved with different relatives. I initially lived with my grandmother, and my grandmother unknowingly at the time had her own issues from her childhood. So she came off as a very mean lady. She was very aggressive, very strict, and I lived there with my brother. I was a very outspoken child as well as a rebellious child. So, because I didn't really want to be there. I wanted to live with my other grandmother, which was, I called the good grandmother, where my other brother lived. But it didn't happen. So I lived with that grandmother, and one day she made a decision that I was too rebellious. I was too much for her, and she took me to the juvenile courts and told them that she could no longer handle having me there. And she took me there with my brother, but she kept him, and she left me there. I was extremely hurt. I was extremely hurt because I couldn't understand how she couldn't just give me back to my mom. She left me there. So as a result, I ended up going from facility to facility and living with relative to relative. And with that came all forms of abuse. I felt neglected and rejected. I felt alone. I felt no one cared. I felt forgotten about. So I felt that my life was useless. What was the purpose of me living this life if I would never be happy? So I was extremely unhappy, and I would disguise that with jokes. So I was the class clown in school. I was that person that made everybody laugh. I was that person, that bubbly person. I was that person that everybody came to feel better. But I was really just trying to forget my own problems. And even later, one of my friends from high school told me she never knew that I was going through those things because I was just so fun and so different. But she didn't realize it was a cover-up. I ended up going to 9 different schools over my 12 years, and all the anger, it transferred into my adulthood. And with that, it was like I had all these opportunities given to me, and I felt like I was taking advantage of them, but there was a wall up, so I couldn't accept everything. It felt like I was going nowhere fast, like really fast. Years were passing by, and I was not accomplishing any of the goals that I had for myself years ago. Because a long time ago, I knew when I was in a facility, after meeting this counselor, that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. But then I found out I had the gift of gab, and I went into the sales field where I spent 20 years in sales and marketing. And I was the top. I was doing my thing. I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't happy in what I was doing, because I knew even at the age of 14 what my true purpose in life was. And that was to help other people that were going through the things that I've gone through. But then the good thing is God was still working on me, and I was still being developed. So I continued to work in sales and marketing. And one day, one of my good friends, who was a social worker, she said to me, after hearing my story, that you should actually consider working in the field of social services, helping other people. And the light bulb went off. I was like, she's right. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be helping other people. So I continued to work in sales and marketing, and that job came to an end. That's what God does. He helped transition you. And I was on unemployment, and one day I was driving down the street, and I was receiving my last unemployment check. And I said to my husband, this is my last unemployment check. And that friend texted me and asked me, are you ready to work? I was like, look at God. So I said yes, and I went through the process of getting a job, and she helped train me into everything I needed to do. And I was a family support person, going into the homes, helping parents and children to come together as one, to build a relationship. And the weird thing was, it was like going back, reaching back into myself over and over again, because it was like I had the opportunity to go back and correct what wasn't done correctly in my own life. I was able to relate to every single person I came in contact with that was experiencing any type of behavior issues, because I had experienced just about everything. With that being said, I made a choice that this was something that I wanted to continue to pursue. I went back, and I'm in school for psychology. My goal is to become a Psych D, because I don't believe, and this is my own personal belief, I don't believe that every person needs to be on medication. I don't believe that every person that have behavior issues need to be medicated. There's ways around medication. Is developing who you really are. Knowing who you are helps you to live a life of wholeness. So that's what I do. I am a certified behavior strategy coach. I'm an author. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a blogger. I help people who are stuck to move forward. And it didn't happen for me overnight. I had to do some soul searching. I had to go back and spend time with God and search the words of God. And I found myself in those words. And it helped me to learn to love myself and understand that everything that I've gone through in life, it was about what I'm doing now, helping the masses. helping people to move forward, helping people to understand why they are fearfully and wonderfully made. That is why I am a champion.